What's up, baseball fans? Frank from Frank's Card Corner here. Today we're going to take a look at my 1990 Topps baseball set. This was the 11th set I put together as a kid from Topps. Let's take a look at the set stats. 792 cards in the base set. Key cards in here are the Frank Thomas rookie card, Sammy Sosa rookie card, Bernie Williams rookie card, Juan Gonzalez rookie card, and Ken Griffey Jr. rookie card. Let's take a look at the set. Let's take a look at the California Angels. I start off all my sets alphabetically by team. As you can see, Jim Abbott up there in the top middle. You can pause the video at any time to see the cards. I'm just going to kind of move along rather quickly so the video doesn't drag. It's Claudell Washington in the lower left. As we move on to the Houston Astros, Art Howe, the manager. There's Eric Anthony in the upper right. He was a power hitting prospect for a while. Craig Biggio, second year card. Glenn Davis in the top left. Good power hitting first baseman for a number of years for the Astros. I think he also played with the Orioles for a while. I could be wrong. I'm not sure. There's Tony La Russa. Moving on to the A's. The A's actually won the World Series the year before. This is the 1990 set. Obviously, they won it in '89. There's Jose Canseco, Mike Gallego, Dave Henderson, Hall of Famer Dennis Eckersley, Ricky Henderson, Mark McGwire. Lots of big stars on this team. Carney Lansford, Dave Parker. Terry Steinbach was their catcher for a number of years. There's Walt Weiss, who won the '89 Rookie of the Year, I believe. The Oakland Athletics had 3 consecutive Rookies of the Year in the 1980s. It was Canseco, McGwire, and Weiss. On to the Toronto Blue Jays. George Bell at the top. Bell had a number of good power years for the Blue Jays. Tony Fernandez, great hitting shortstop. There's Al Leiter, traded to from the New York Yankees. Lee Mazzilli, Fred McGriff, Lloyd Mosby, good power hitter. Dave Stieb. Dave Stieb was the ace of the Toronto Blue Jays for the entire decade of the 1980s. Great pitcher. There's Mookie Wilson. Moving on to the Atlanta Braves. Atlanta Braves were going to be the team of the 1990s. Having many good winning seasons, of course, with the big pitching staff that they had, with Tom Glavine, as you see in the lower right corner. Dale Murphy. There's John Smoltz. They don't have Greg Maddux at this time yet, I don't believe. I don't think he's still with the Cubs. They got him, I believe, in 1992. And then it was all uphill from there for them. Although they only won 1 World Series back in the 90s. They made so many playoffs and just never got there. But they were a great team for the entire decade. As we look at the Milwaukee Brewers, there's Paul Molitor. Gary Sheffield, that's his second year card. See the gold cup on there. Topps put these gold cups on there, which denoted the best rookies at each position for the previous year. That's what that meant. As you saw the Jim Abbott when we were looking at the Angels. On to the St. Louis Cardinals. Vince Coleman, big base stealer back then. Stole 100 bases, I think, three or four seasons in a row. Willie Mcgee, longtime veteran of the St. Louis Cardinals. Great hitter. Ozzie Smith, Hall of Famer. Todd Zeil's rookie card. Todd Zeile would go on to play for the Dodgers, the Mets on the World Series team. He's now a commentator on SNY. Moving on to the Chicago Cubs. Mark Grace, great hitter. Joe Girardi, who would go on to manage the New York Yankees, along with the Florida Marlins as well. Girardi having some great managerial years with both of those teams. There's Andre Dawson, Hall of Famer. Ryan Sandberg, Dwight Smith, very big prospect back then. Just had a couple of good years. And there's Greg Maddux there. He would get traded to the Braves in another year or two. Jerome Walton, I believe Walton won National League Rookie of the year before. You see he has the Gold Cup there. Didn't have the career that everyone panned out. Thought he would have, but did have a good rookie season a couple of years after that. On to the Dodgers. You see Kirk Gibson there. 2 years ago, of course, he hit that historic World Series home run off Dennis Eckersley. Ramon Martinez. There's Pedro Martinez's brother, Oral Hershiser. Eddie Murray, Willie Randolph, Mike Scioscia, Fernando Valenzuela. Moving on to the Montreal Expos, who of course would 15 years later become the Washington Nationals. It's Andres Galarraga, Huey Brooks, Larry Walker. I believe that's Larry Walker's rookie card too. Mark Langston, big strikeout pitcher, getting traded over to the trading over from the Seattle Mariners. Pascual Perez, Delino DeShields. I believe that might be his rookie card too. He had a number of good years. His Hall of Famer Tim Raines, as he has Rock Raines on that card. On to the San Francisco Giants. Will Clark, Matt Williams, second year, or actually third year card. Kevin Mitchell. Mitchell, I believe, had a really good season the year before this, or this year, where he hit, I think, 48 or 50 home runs or something like that. He had a big home run year. He was a big power hitter for a number of years. On to the Cleveland Indians. There's Joe Carter, Corey Snyder, Albert Bell, known as Joey Bell back then. I believe that's his first card in a Topps base set. He might have been in the 89 traded set, along with Ken Griffey Jr., which there's Ken Griffey Jr.'s card right there. This is actually Griffey's first card in a base top set. He did have an 89 traded set card. On to the, continuing on with the Mariners here. Omar Vizquel, I believe that is his second year card. Moving on to the New York Mets. Sid Fernandez, Ron Darling, Greg Jeffries. Jeffries, a big Mets prospect for a couple of years. Again, didn't pan out to what they expected him to be, but he did have a good couple of years. Keith Hernandez, Doc Gooden, and Darryl Strawberry, very big touted prospects. Had decent careers, but could have been a lot better if they didn't have the troubles that they ran into in their personal life. Of course, everyone knows. David Cohn, Juan Samuel, Howard Johnson. Howard Johnson would go on to be their premier power hitter for the early part of the 1990s. On to the Baltimore Orioles, managed by Hall of Famer Frank Robinson. There's Curt Schilling. I believe that's Curt Schilling's rookie card, or second year card. Cal Ripken. Ben McDonald, a very highly touted pitching prospect, had a couple of good years with them. Didn't quite pan out to have the career everyone expected him to have. I think he had Tommy John surgery. On to the San Diego Padres. Tony Gwynn. Tony Gwynn, Hall of Famer, of course. One of the greatest hitters of our generation. There's some staggering stats online about Tony Gwynn. If you could just Google him around, his low strikeouts and just things that he did are just unbelievable. On to the Philadelphia Phillies. See Roger McDowell, Vaughn Hayes. Pittsburgh Pirates, good team at this time. 1990, they were a tough team in the National League East in the 1980s. They did win a few. Did win a pennant or two. There's Andy Van Slyke. Bobby Bonilla. There's Barry Bonds in the middle. That I believe is Bond's third or fourth year card. Moving on to the Texas Rangers, there's the Juan Gonzalez rookie card. Bobby Valentine is their manager, who will later on go on to manage the New York Mets. Take them to the World Series in the year 2000 against the Yankees. Kevin Brown. Nolan Ryan. Nolan, I think, got card number 1 in the set this year. Yep, number 1. Hall of Famer Nolan Ryan, the Ryan Express. On to the Boston Red Sox, managed by Joe Morgan. You see Rick Cerrone there. Dwight Evans, Ellis Burks, Roger Clemens, some big names on this team. A couple of Hall of Famers. There's Jim Rice. I believe that was Jim Rice's final year. Mike Greenwell had a number of good years in the 80s, a great hitter. Just kind of faded out after a while. Wade Boggs in the top middle. On to the Cincinnati Reds. You see Barry Larkin there. That's his third or fourth year card. Ken Griffey Sr. He'd go on to play a year or two with the Mariners with his son. You see John Franco there, Eric Davis. Eric Davis was a very big hitter for a couple of years. Stole 80 bases one year while hitting, I think, 30 home runs. On to the Kansas City Royals. Bo Jackson in the top middle, Brett Saberhagen, Danny Tartabull. Some good hitters and pitchers on this team. There's George Brett. Tommy Gordon in the upper right with the All-Star Rookie Trophy. Moving on to the Detroit Tigers, there you see Sparky Anderson, not looking too happy. Sparky never really looked happy. He was always looked like he had business on his mind. Alan Trammell, top left. Lou Whitaker, top right. Of course, part of the great second base shortstop combination of the 1980s and 1990s for the Tigers. Freddie Lynn. On to the Minnesota Twins, managed by Tom Kelly. There's Wally Backman in the upper right. Kirby Puckett, bottom middle, Hall of Famer. What an athlete he was. And on to the Chicago White Sox, managed by Jeff Torborg. There's the Sammy Sosa rookie card, bottom middle. Carlos Martinez in the top right with the All-Star Rookie Trophy. Carlton Fisk, lower right. Ozzie Guillen, top middle. And there's the Frank Thomas rookie card. Hottest card in the set right there. There is a error version of this card with his no name on the front of the card. It's just a blue band. It sells for hundreds of dollars. It's very, very hard to find. But they did make that is the error version of that card. Very, very difficult to find. As you see Robin Ventura there. And getting back down to the New York Yankees, managed by Bucky Dent, Jesse Barfield, Bob Guerin, as you see with the All-Star Rookie Trophy. Don Mattingly, lower middle. He's in his kind of fading out years now, where his back troubles started to bother him. He would last another couple of years. Mel Hall, top left. Rafael Santana, lower left. Steve Sachs. There's Dave Righetti and Deion Sanders. Sanders, of course, another one like Bo Jackson, multi-sport player. Dave Winfield, Bernie Williams. There's the Bernie Williams rookie card. They gave a honorary card to the commissioner of baseball at the time, Bart Giamatti, in this set. And we finish off with the record breakers, a set of Nolan Ryan cards. The All-Star cards, which depict the 1989 American League and National League All-Star teams. Some turn back the clocks. And the checklist cards. Thanks for watching, everybody. Be sure to check out my other videos, and we'll talk soon.